So section 5.9.1 is called Fractional Equations, and the equations just means it's going to have an equal sign in it, right? So example number 1, we're going to have some algebraic expressions in here with an equal sign. When your equation's set up like this, the easiest way to deal with it is just to do the cross product, okay? So we're going to take y times the y minus 4, set that equal to the y minus 2 times the y minus 3. And then I'm not seeing anything that will cancel, right? So we're going to distribute on the left and FOIL on the right. So y times y is y squared. Y times negative 4 is negative 4y. On the right, we're going to FOIL. So first is y times y, y squared. Outside, y times negative 3, which is negative 3y. Inside gets us a negative 2y. And last gets us positive 6. Okay. Now we want to regroup it by setting it equal to 0. And then see what happens with that. Okay? So let's see. I've got a y squared here and a y squared here. So if I subtract y squared from both sides, those are gone, right? And I've got negative 5y. So if I add 5y and add 5y, that's going to leave me with y on the left and 6 on the right. And that's it for that one. Any questions on example 1? No? All right, let's try. Oh, that's the same problem. All right, example number 2. Try one that's a little bit harder. Example number 1 was really nice because we could just do the cross product and solve. But for example number 2, we can't just do the cross product because we have 2 separate terms over here. Okay, so instead, we need to find the what? Least common denominator. So it might help to factor this denominator right here. So this would be actually 3 over what? Square root of x squared is x and x. What 2 numbers are going to multiply to get 10, add or subtract to get negative 7? X minus 5, x minus 2. Whoop. So the least common denominator, and if you make a 1 right here, right? Least common denominator, they both have the x minus 5. And we need the x minus 2. All right, so what do I need to multiply this first term by? Trick question, right? Nothing. It's already got both of those in the denominator. How about this second term? Both of them. So I'm going to multiply the 2 times the x minus 5 and times the x minus 2. How about the third term after the equal sign? Just the x minus 2. So I'm going to take that x minus 4, multiply it by the x minus 2. And the denominator is going to get me x minus 5 and x minus 2. Now that all your denominators are the same, right? You can just cancel them off. And then you have your numerators, 3 plus 2 times, and if we FOIL this out, we know we're actually going to get this up here, right? So x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals and then we can FOIL this. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Here we need to distribute, and then we can see if we can get some simplifying. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative 7x is negative 14x. And 2 times 10 is 20. Let's combine these two. We've got x squared minus 6x plus 8. This is supposed to be an x right there, yes. All right, let's see if we can get it all on one side or the other. So I see there's an x squared over here and an x squared over here. So subtract that x squared. That'll help. Add the 6x. And then we've got 3 plus 20, so I'm just going to change this to 23. Because they're both on the same side. And then subtract the 8. That's going to get us set equal to 0. And what's left over here? 2x squared minus 1x squared is x squared. Negative 14x plus 6x is what? Negative 8x. And 23 minus 8 is 15. That was messy for a minute. All right. So let's factor it now. And this one's easily factorable at this point. Square root of x squared is x and x. What two numbers are going to multiply to get 15? Add or subtract to get negative 8?
Negative 3 and negative 5.
X minus 3 and x minus 5. So these are our factors. What are our solutions? It's actually the positive. So it's what numbers you would plug in here to get 0. So x would be 3 and x would be 5. Okay? But you have to look at these two and check to see if it would make the original denominators 0. So look at the original equation and check to see if the denominator would be 0. So if I plug a 3 in here, when we factor to x minus 5 and x minus 2 should be fine. Didn't get a 0. Plug a 3 in there, should be fine. But what happens if I plug in a 5? 5 minus 5 is 0. Can you have a 0 in the denominator?
No.
No. So you have to actually cross off the 5 and say that it's something like an extraneous solution. What? Okay. Because it makes that denominator 0. The 3 is good. So 3 is actually the only answer.